So as we all know, there's a good chance Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder, I can't believe I'm saying this, Russell Westbrook will likely be traded this summer or probably by the trade deadline. I believe at some point the Thunder are going to trade Russell Westbrook. Hell, I don't expect them to make it to the trade deadline. They traded Paul George in 3 days. It wouldn't make sense to you. Might as well just blow the whole damn thing up. You trade PG in 3 days. What, you going to hold on to Westbrook for a year or two? I doubt it. This organization is like, look, we've given this thing a shot for over a decade now, right? Or at least, let's say the last 5 to 8 years. Some of the Kevin Durant years, they went out and got PG. It didn't work out for a year or two. The Thunder are tired of spending money. They're a small market team. They just can't continue to do this. They can't be anywhere close to the luxury tax, dropping all this money that they're dropping for Russ, PG, Steven Adams. Schroeder's got a contract coming. That's entirely too much money. Roberson didn't pan out. That dude ain't paid to play the game since he got that new contract. So I'm looking at this Thunder team like they're tired. They want to do this all over again with young players, with smaller contracts more than younger players, right? That's a big deal to them. And they're finally executing that. That's why you make a trade for PG in 3 days. I still think it was dumb, but this is a money play. The owner's probably tired, right? He's probably told Sam Presti, look, if we ain't winning, Damian Lillard literally waved goodbye to us in Game 5 in Portland, and that demoralized the franchise the way we lost to the Portland Trailblazers. If we can't take Portland to 6 games and they got swept by Golden State, we're nowhere close to a championship. And it's time for us to start facing these harsh realities. So the Russell Westbrook trade, I believe, will happen. Now, the question is, where does Russell Westbrook go? Obviously, if Paul George was on the open market and every team know, he would have a crap ton of suitors. I would imagine up to 15 teams. Half the league will probably be interested in trading for Paul George, right? A lot of guys obviously can't get traded until December. A lot of guys who just signed new contracts, they can't be eligible for a trade until after December, the middle of December. But I'm thinking to myself, guys would have found a way to trade for Paul George if they knew he was available. They would have gave every pick they had. You see, the Clippers did it to pair PG up with Kawhi Leonard. So with Russ, I don't think there's going to be as much interest. He's a very interesting player. Phenomenal talent, walking triple-double, averaged it for 3 years in a row. But the Thunder are tired of that narrative because what comes with that triple-double is, let's call a spade, some selfishness. Comes with some selfishness. He can't shoot. His shooting was horrible. His shooting is getting worse. He's not even a good free throw shooter anymore. That's crazy to me. You could always put Russ on the line and get an 88% free throw shooter. You can't get that anymore. 85, 88%. So, in regards to teams, we're hearing the Miami Heat, we're hearing the Detroit Pistons, and a lot of us believe the Houston Rockets are going to find a way into this thing. So if you ask me who would I guess Russell Westbrook would get traded to, my guess would be Detroit. He should get traded to Detroit. My guess is he'll get traded to Houston, right? That's how I think he should get traded to Detroit. They got picks. They need talent. Blake Griffin, Russell Westbrook. It doesn't feel like a ring, but it's something, right? It's something. Detroit's needed a star for quite some time. It's something, man. Miami, Pat Riley is aggressively trying to give Jimmy Butler a second star. Pat Riley is done with that team in Miami. He was done with Hassan Whiteside. He's done with Dion Waiters. He's done with that team. If he sees what I see, and he's in the organization and I'm not, that Miami Heat team got entirely too close. That's why they're breaking that damn thing up. They play anime and Fortnite together all damn night. Y'all too tall to be on Fortnite all damn night. All right? So now we go to Houston. Houston would love to find a way to bring another star in and get rid of Chris Paul. But it's interesting with Houston because relationships around the NBA matter. And people forget Chris Paul is a big part of the Players Association, right? So GM for the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, has to be really careful with how he trades Chris Paul. He's a super aggressive GM, we know that. He actively went after Jimmy Butler this summer. He was ready to give up on Clint Capella and Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker if it took it to bring in Jimmy Butler. But obviously Jimmy Butler decided to sign with the Miami Heat, sign the trade. So how can the Rockets get better? Because they're the only team to me in the West of the playoff teams that didn't get significantly better. You could go out and bring in a guy like Russell Westbrook. him and Chris Paul, their contracts are about $38.5 million. So they line up. Chris Paul has 3 years remaining on this deal. Russell Westbrook has 4 years. So 1 extra year with Russell Westbrook. That's a big deal because teams don't want to pay that because he's on the downside of his prime. So the contracts match up straight up for Russ and Chris Paul essentially. But I don't believe Daryl Morey has it in him to trade Chris Paul to the Oklahoma City Thunder. See, that matters too, and people don't understand that. Like, this just ain't NBA 2K. We ain't in the association, right? Like, relationships matter. And the Rockets, they would get a terrible PR around the league if they just trade Chris Paul, dump him to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Russell Westbrook. I don't know if the Thunder would even take a trade like that. I still think it would take Chris Paul and every pick that the Rockets got, which they are willing to give up. But then I'm thinking, is Russell Westbrook even clearly better than Chris Paul? That's just whatever. All right, but at least Russ is healthy most of the time. So maybe it's that. But if you're the Thunder, if you're Chris Paul, if you're the Rockets, can we all get together on one accord and convince Chris Paul that the next best place for his career is to leave competing for championships and go to a rebuild, a team that we clearly see is rebuilding? I don't think he'd want that. And Daryl Morey would have to be cognizant of, people would look at the Rockets funny like, yo, Chris Paul chose y'all. He chose y'all and he got traded from the Clippers technically to come time with you guys. And y'all gonna do him dirty like that? Y'all paid him, now y'all gonna do him dirty? I think for this trade to work, somehow, some way, you gotta get a team involved that's one piece away from competing for a championship. It's gotta be a third team involved with this Rockets and Thunder trade if you're gonna get Chris Paul to a destination where he's at least decently happy, at least put him in a winning situation. Other than that, I don't think the Rockets can make this move straight up with the Thunder. It'll look too bad. It'll look like the Rockets just dumped CP3 straight up and down. A star in his own right, a Hall of Famer. I don't think Daryl Morey could do that. You got to get a third team involved, like the Lakers, before they signed some of these other guys. Maybe they would have made sense to pair LeBron James over Chris Paul. That seems like something both sides would have wanted to do, right? So then you bring in, you trade Russ to the Rockets, and somehow between the Lakers and the Rockets, they come up with some type of pick compensation for the Thunder. That's what I would have ideally saw happening. I don't know where Chris Paul fits in. You're getting a guy that doesn't play 75, 80% of the games anymore. He's guaranteed to miss 20 or 30 of them bad boys every damn year. You get a guy who's didn't look the greatest version of himself. He's turned into a shooting guard playing alongside James Harden. I don't know what you do with Chris Paul. I don't know how you make this team better, but I know somehow something tells me that the Rockets will be involved in these Russell Westbrook trade talks as it picks up as we get further and further in the summer. We'll see. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. You are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Taliaferro. Mr.
Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr.Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the triple B's. You can't do nothing but win.